Patrice Evans here. All right, let's do something more specific for you, because I did, in the series that we were doing today, we talked a lot about all the different ways of going from feeling lonely, feeling disrespected, feeling undermined, and it's hard to succeed when you're with women that are not really on your level, compatible with you. That you can't share your faith really with her. You're not able to grow in your calling, and you picture yourself with this godly family. You're like, how am I going to have this godly family with someone like this? So you think it's just the modern woman, and we talked about how it's not modern women, because you can have a traditionally modern woman, and you could be a traditionally modern man, and there's no way to kind of undo that at this point. Now we're all modern, basically. We can't help ourselves. But in that, we can be Christians that are, and we can find ways of doing that. And I teach you that in my course. My name is Patrice Evans, and welcome to my channel. And what I want to do here today is I want to help you learn some techniques that you can use, whether you work with me or not, to get you started. And if you choose that you want help with it, to really turn into the person that you want to be, so it comes effortlessly for you, I'd love to work with you. And you can click on my link below to learn more about what my course is in the webinar, or you can click on my link to actually just start finding out how to get started, and I'll get that in the description below. But today I want to leave you with just a few specific things that come off the top of my mind naturally on how to set boundaries. I want to get more into it, because I told you what they were before, but I want to, and if you want to know more about boundaries and how it is, I will link the video to tell you more about, get more into that. But let's just do examples of boundaries just real quickly. And so let's just think about it. So we talked about boundaries come in when you know who you are and you don't want that woman that does those things, but instead you're looking to attract the woman who can share in your life with you. You're not lonely anymore. You're able to share in your dreams, your aspirations, and your calling with no problem. She can too. You have peace of mind, and you have peace in what you say and how you feel. You are able to be respected. You're growing together. In financially growing, everything you grew before you met her continues to grow. She doesn't stunt that, and you don't go backwards. You're both able to please the Lord. You're able to please the Lord even more with her. You know what I mean? You may have some hiccup times where you're getting to know each other, but eventually, ultimately, you both are growing. And you're able to keep what you had and actually flourish more with this joy, with compatibility, and you are able to go into having a joyful, lasting marriage. Pleasing to the Lord. That's what you want to do. How do you set boundaries to keep out the toxic people that you keep attracting and start to attract the ones that are this woman that you're looking for? She's like she is like a Proverbs 31 woman. She's high value. She is looking for a man that's going to have a family with her and children, and go to church together if that's possible in these last days. Or is going to grow in every way, and she can picture all that, and you can picture that with her. How do you weed out the ones that aren't and those who are? They all look good, and let me tell you, man, I get it. We do our nails, we look cute, we look all gorgeous, we seem friendly, and let me tell you, I'm gonna get into this. If you want me to talk about female narcissists and how it's so much harder to detect them compared to male narcissists, please, I can't wait to do a video on that, because we're gonna talk about that. I may talk about it a little bit here. The boundary that you're setting is about yourself. Just keep that in mind, okay? So write some notes about that. So you're setting this boundary for yourself. You're keeping good in and letting good in and keeping bad out is what the boundary is set for. But what you're protecting, let's say a fence is protecting your home. We have doors that keep us in, right, from bad coming in, but we open it for those that are good to come in. So think of your boundary as like a door. You keep a boundary all around, and then there's this door, and it is part of that boundary, but it's a part of the boundary that lets people in. So the boundary keeps everybody out, and you now get to go in one. They don't come to you in all these different areas, right? You're surrounded, all enveloped around you is a boundary. And then there's this one door in the middle. It's a part of the boundary, but it's the one area where people got to come correct. They got to come from the front, not from the back and the side and sneaking in and all that stuff. If you want to come into my heart, my life, my mind, and whatever, then I want to see you straight on. So I'm going to set a boundary all around, and then I will decide when I open this door. I need to hear and see things I like. I have a camera on the outside, and I'm listening. and I'm watching for certain things. So the boundary is what you place to protect what's inside, right? The red flag is what's going on outside to you and that you stop with the boundary. So they work hand in hand. So let's talk about the boundaries. Let's get some examples of what a boundary would sound like. Because sometimes when I'm talking to empathic young men that are Christian and successful and you're traditional and you're between 25 and 32. So it's very possible that you're still learning these things, especially if you've really been focused on your career, which these are the men I work with. You're so focused on your career. You've done so well in every aspect of your life, and congratulations for that. And now it's time to find love. And it's like, oh, wow, I don't really have that training, so I can help you as your coach. I can definitely help you with that. So you want to click on my Calendly link so we can set an appointment if you're already ready. Or if you want to hear a little bit more, you can click on the Calendly link so that you can get my free webinar. Okay, you can learn more about me there. But let's get that visual. You have the camera on the outside, and that's you talking, setting your boundaries. That's that camera on the outside. You didn't let them in yet. So how are we going to communicate our boundaries? So there is non-communication always first, which I could talk to you about. You're not overly laughing and friendly yet. You're very showing that you're interested because everyone deserves an opportunity to have that first layer. I can teach you the difference between fully doing it and having the interested look, where you're letting them in, right? Then your words match that. You're having conversationally asking things about them. And you're asking things that are compatible. Write that down. When set boundaries, you're asking compatible questions. Because what are you're interested in? Somebody, remember what our goal is here. We want somebody that shares in the things that you've done in life and things that you care about and like, right? We're not just talking about compatibility and if she likes the beach and you like the beach, which my husband and I did, so we were very compatible. But we're talking about the faith and your belief system. Start there. You must start there. So hopefully you met her in a church setting or in a Christian setting or somewhere where you both were seeking the Lord. That at least eliminates a lot right there. It's at least you have like-mindedness in that, right? Or maybe on campus where you guys have a church on campus or there's something. If you're a little younger than 25 and you're listening and you still want to be a part of what I do. Or you met her in one and now you're older and you want to reach out to her because you hadn't had a chance to when you were younger. Whatever the case is, anybody can go to a church thing. Anybody can say they're saved. Anybody can say they're Christian. Please, been there, done that. I had the problem with a sociopathic person telling me he was Christian, answered all the questions, did everything right. Now, it's unfair to have anyone feel bad about being tricked by a sociopathic person or a psychopathic person because they are experts. They can look like me. They can look like you. They're just so good. But a coach that knows how to get certain answers out of them and find consistencies, I can help you detect those so that they never walk through that door. I now know because I went through the experience. I wrote a book about it. For real, Resilient Joy. So I was resilient. I want to make you resilient. So you're out there, you're talking to them. Everyone gets the general friendly smile. The girl that you like, give her the benefit of the doubt because you're showing up secure. Look at my other videos if you want to know what a secure attachment style is. That's what a secure attachment style looks like. Just everyone gets a chance. And so they get that balanced me. We're pulling it all together with that nonverbal communication, eye contact. I'm alert. I want to hear it. You deserve the stage. I mean, I don't know you, so let's see what do you have. How are you? Very pleasant, godly, but everything that the Bible says about how we should treat anyone. We should be peaceable. We should be joyful. We should be trying to make peace, edifying. When you leave the conversation, and she may be your sister in Christ, you should be leaving there treating her like a sister in Christ. Even if she isn't, you're leaving there treating the woman in the way that God would have you do. Yeah. So you start off that way, and if you always stay in that notch the whole time, that's fine. This is what she gets. It's friendly, basic, friendly. You would give that to anybody, right? I'm folding my hands right here. This is a sign that you are closed up. So that's what I'm really doing. I am closed up. But if people see that on the outside, it's just so hard to do because you really are closed up. But you're just showing a friendly way, but you truly are closed up. So you might fold your hands at this point. If you don't mind that people like me know that, she might know that, then go ahead and do it. But if you're with somebody who reads nonverbal and is an expert in communication, and you don't want to give that away that you're being closed up, then be very mindful to not do that. Maybe you can go like this. Maybe you can go like this, because that's still kind of guarding you. You're putting something in front of you. But at least a lot of people know that this is closed up. You don't want to give it away to somebody who might be like me that knows, and now you know. So don't show you're closed up, but you are, because no one should be getting in there until they deserve it. And you notice how I'm talking a little strong, a little bit, just a little bit. I don't want to turn the person off, but I'm very friendly and I'm nice and everything, but I don't want to give them my all yet because I don't know who I'm talking to. Sociopath, narcissistic, they don't need much. You also don't want to be telling them everything about yourself, especially your deepest feelings about things and things that matter the most so early on. No, even if they ask. Okay, so let's say they ask you. You're going to set a boundary. This is what boundaries are. You get questions that could be pink flags, I'm going to call them, not red, but they're not comfortable. So you need to know already how far you're going to go with explaining who you are. You need to already have your list of rules. Write that down. I have to have my list of rules of all the things I'm going to be allowing to share about myself. You might even write it out perfectly on what you're willing to share if you need to. Because if you're someone like me that just gets comfortable, memorize it. Just know the topics and the things you're willing to share. Especially when you're with me, I will help you with that. So when you're in conversation and, they innocently just asked one of those things, they don't know, just like you didn't know. They're just being innocent about it. So they're just asking some really personal things. Pink flag, not red. Then you say, well, I guess right now I'm just not ready to share that. Is that okay? You just set a boundary. You said if that okay out of being friendly, but the truth is you don't really care if it's okay because you're not. You don't have anything invested in this person. In New York, they say they're not paying my bills, so you don't owe anything to them. They could be gorgeous, rich, whatever. It doesn't matter. You must hold the line and be friendly. And then they say, oh, okay, that's fine. No, it's just fine. After a little bit, I would love to share that. But for now, I'm just wanting to just kind of get to know each other on this level. You just set a boundary. I don't want to go deeper than this, but I do like you. That's how you set a boundary. And then that's one way to do it. Let's say there's something else. Maybe you have some triggers about yourself because your mother passed away or something. Maybe you're healthy and you're ready to talk about your mom. So you talk about her. And then you got to talk about some things, though, that you're willing to talk about so that you can see compatibility. You got to know you're in your boundary. Also, when you're writing there, write your goal of your conversation in what you're willing to. I want to get to know if we're compatible. On what level? Well, on a friendly level first. I want to know that. And these are the things I'm willing to do, so you got to respect them if they don't give you more than you're giving them. That's fair. So you need to, you have like a boundary plan. Before you start, you have to already know what your boundary is. So when you get in conversation, you already know how far you want to go. Amen? So you don't want to talk about one thing, but you don't mind talking about your mom. So this is all about growth and stuff. Maybe it's still sore and there's a tender place. And you're like, I heard that your aunt just passed and she was like a mother figure to you. I'm sorry to hear that. So when did that happen? And you can say, well, if it's okay with you, thank you so much. That was so kind of you to give me a blessing. It really means a lot to me. Right now, I'm just not ready to talk about it right now. Is that, would that be okay with you? And then you can say, is that okay with you? But remember, you really don't care if it's okay with them, but you're just trying to be amicable and peaceful. It's just something that I'm just not. And then notice my tone, my tilted head, kind. If you're a guy, you could be like, like tilt down, and you could be more firm about it. You can nod and say, that's really, really nice of you to share with me, to ask about her and to say that I really appreciate it. Receive it and just say, if it's okay with you, right now, I'm not in a place, or you can say I'm not in a place to talk about it. And maybe there'll be a time when I feel more comfortable talking about it, but I'm just kind of not in a place to talk about it. Is that okay with you? And then she says it's okay. What I learned from my own self is you don't have to explain why. And that's what we do as empaths a lot. We say, well, because she this and she this and she this, and then I this and I that. Technically, they're not anybody to explain yet. So boundaries, you don't have to get into all the levels and the reasons to help them feel better. And you don't want, that's going too hard, too soft. Too hard would be, well, I don't want to talk about that right now. That's too hard. Sure, you set a boundary, but you also were off-putting. That's a little bit looking like you're not secure. You're not sounding like you have a secure attachment style. We can go into the other business videos to find out what I mean by that. So you're not neutral still. So think about it. The reason you set that boundary is so that you can stay neutral, right? That's another goal you can put up there. If you're already acting like you ain't neutral and you didn't even talk about it yet, I mean, give the person a chance. That you set the boundary. So you don't have to be a hot mess, or you don't have to be snotty or rude, right? So the boundary is to keep you neutral. Put that up there. Because if you go into something, it might throw you off. And you can't trust yourself when you're thrown off. So it's a boundary, a barrier to help you stay centered also. And to help people to stay away from certain areas that you're not ready for them to get into yet. So write all these things down, the purpose for your boundary. If you know the purpose for why you're doing it, it's protecting you right now until you know who you're dealing with. And you may have to stay at this level for a little while so you really learn. Everyone's different, but there are some rules to how long it is, depending on what this relationship is, when you met them, how you met them, who they are. And there's a lot more. In the coaching, I can help more because then I can hear more of the specifics. But generally speaking, the first few dates, wouldn't you say? Where you're still getting to know each other. And then now it's like, now the person realizes some things about you. If they really are here in this for the long haul, now you're learning information about them based on your boundaries. They are starting to show who they really are to you. How did they react to that boundary? That's going to show you the red flag. The red flag, the pink flag. If they pushed up against it, say, I understand if you're not ready to do that. Now, they could say, I coach, and if you ever need anybody to talk to, I'm here for you. That's not pushing against it, that's offering it, but respecting you said no. When somebody straightforward says no in a nice way, we also need to respect their boundary just as much as we want them to respect ours. And you'll find, a little side note, you'll find that people who don't have boundaries themselves will not want you to have them. And those are not good people, to get close to very quickly. Now, they could be kind, wonderful people. They just never learned it. They never grew. Many, many people are like this. So that doesn't mean they're bad for you. Ultimately, it just means that you may have to kind of teach them a little bit later or kind of be that lead like you're supposed to be. So as the man, what I love about coaching the men is that I can have you lead a lot of things that I couldn't do with the women. All I could do with the women is more reactive, and they have to go by what you do and respond. But what I can do with you is I can have you lead properly so she has a better chance of being what she needs to be, because you're setting the bar, you're setting the standard. When you start setting boundaries, she might follow in your footsteps, and she might say, well, then that means I probably shouldn't go too far either. And that's good. Believe it or not, it's good. If you're a good guy that's empathic, that's in this for the long haul, there's no rush. And the other thing is you're guarding your heart as a Christian, and you're not getting so involved. If you know too much, then you're going to get too involved. If you're empathic, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to be there for you. And you're going to be like, you're going to look past a lot of the things. You're going to go too deep too quickly. These boundaries protect you. And what they are in the Christian faith, we call that guarding your heart, guarding your mind, guarding your spirit. And if you do need to have something in front of you like this, going like this with your hands, or going like this, or just kind of getting your hands like this, that's okay, because maybe you need to feel that feeling that I'm guarding myself. I need to guard myself. But just don't do the traditional, because that looks like I'm indifferent and I don't really want to hear you. And you're giving off something about you that's not you. You're just learning techniques that someone told you, and now you're giving off something that's not you. We don't want that. We want you to be a good guy, kind guy. So you can go like this sometimes with your hands. You can go like this sometimes. Have something in front of you to feel that feeling of I am protected. Okay, so these are the best things I can give you just to get you started. I mean, there's so much more that I can help you with and literally get you through this in a short amount of time so that you can actually be this person naturally. You don't have to go by little tricks and tips. There's so many things with boundaries. Look, I gave you what it's for. Why don't you go and find out what it is for you by just flushing those things out, okay? And just know that if you're struggling yourself with boundaries, I want you to do an exercise and find out, put yourself in, if you're empathic, in the other person's shoes, and they don't want those. Let's pretend all the things you wrote about yourself is her. That's her. Those are her things on the list. And now you are being told by her that you don't want that. If you can't handle that, that's an insecure attachment style, then you can't expect her to handle yours. And that's the issue here. If you don't like not knowing things early, then you need to deal with those issues. And that's what we deal with in the course so that you can break through those things. You can be free. You can be at peace knowing that let this relationship build. This is a foundation that might be something amazing and we're praying will be. So let's start off well so that you can have this joyful, lasting marriage we're looking for. So I hope this helped you. Let's go into the second piece to this, where I'm going to talk a little bit more about the other side to this, which is the red flags. How do we handle when it's a red flag, and can you use boundaries to help you detect red flags? I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And don't forget to click on my link below to get my webinar, my free webinar, and you can learn more about how I will be helping you in the course. I tell you a little bit more about that. And you can go at the end of that and you can go ahead and see if I'm a good fit for you. Or if you're already ready to work with me because you've seen so many of my videos and you just want to get started, go ahead and click on my Calendly link and we can go ahead and set up an appointment to see if you're a good fit. If I can help you specifically with what you're looking for and if you're fitting who I work with. All right. Well, God bless you. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Bye.